in Mundaka Upanishad, there is this illustration of two birds. You know, the sloka goes something like this: Dva suparna sayuja sakaya samanam vriksham parishasvajate tayoranya pippalam swadadatyan ashnannanyo abhichakashiti. So there, the illustration is there are two birds sitting on a tree. One bird which is sitting on the top branch, higher branch, that bird is just looking, it is not doing anything. Then there is a bird on the lower branch, it is perched on the lower branch. And this bird which is on the lower branch, it is actually actively eating something. I mean, it is looking for food and eating those little fruits or something which is there on the tree. And it's very busy. It's very busy doing something. But the bird on the higher branch doesn't do anything. It is just seeing. It is not doing anything, but it is just seeing. So here, this is the same example given here, somewhat similar example given here. To explain this thing, a very standard way to explain this is that there is this thing called jiva. That jiva is that individual, and there is this thing called atma. So now what has happened is here he says pibantav. Pibantav means something, somebody is drinking something. Like drinking means you are enjoying something, ideally, right? Like if somebody is taking some drinks, like alcohol or something, then they are drinking, they are enjoying that drink. They're getting drunk by that. So that kind of drinking, he says, now this drinking is happening to both the people. But in reality, there is only one which is drinking. The other is somewhat dragged into it by what is called as the Chatri Nyaya. This is the logic of umbrella holders. In the old times, it was mentioned that there are 2-3 people going with an umbrella. This is one person holding the umbrella. But we say that there are a bunch of people who are going with umbrellas. So similarly, like here, that Atma is also accused of drinking. Yeah? Like you go with someone you go to a pub or a bar, and you don't drink, but that person with you is drinking. But you're also accused of drinking because you have gone into that place. So similarly here, that pibanta, what has happened is this drinking has been imposed on both. But in reality, one of them is not drinking. Only that jiva is drinking. The other way to categorize this is jivatma and paramatma, or jiva and ishvara. So different ways of classifying this: individual and God, or individual atma and the universal atma, paramatma. And now what is happening is that this sukritasya, meaning it is that it is enjoying what? The enjoying that which it has earned. It is not enjoying something which is not earned. Meaning like if somebody has to even drink like a coffee or a tea, you have to pay for it, right? So that what you have earned and you can pay, that you will enjoy, that you can enjoy. Ritam pribantau sukritasya loke guham pravishtam parame pararde. So this thing has been discussed quite extensively in Brahma Sutra, this line, So there are these two things has entered the heart, entered the intellect. How it has entered? It has entered that supreme place, that secret place, that highest place within one's heart or intellect. So entered again is a very symbolic thing. It is not literally that it is entered, but it is that central thing. It is that essence of one's being. This two entities are the central of one's being. And then he says, Chaya Tapau. What is Chaya is shade. Tapau is light. Huh? So it is like a light and darkness, that light and shade. So there is sunlight and then there is that shade. So two entities, they are always together. So like in other words, like where there is some light, there will be some shade somewhere. And similarly, if there is shade, that means there has to be light somewhere. So it is possible sometimes there is no shade, but the light has to be there. Similarly, Paramatma has to be there, regardless of whether Jivatma is there or not. But most cases, the Jivatma also gets reflected when we say Paramatma or Atma, and Atma expresses itself through this entity as Jiva, that expression of Atma. So that expression of Atma is what is called as it has entered. It had entered this body, mind, and other things. For Brahmavid, what is it? It is this version of what we call as Jiva and Atma. So that Atma itself is Paramatma. So together, this Jiva and Atma are coexisting in the body, meaning that Atma is the only reality, but it is like the sunlight in the body, which is always there, which gets reflected through the mirror. So both are constantly there. And that Atma, which is the real self, who we are, is always untouched, meaning it has no karma and it never does anything. So it never has to even enjoy or suffer anything. So this is what especially the highest Vedanta teaching is, that thing in us which is pure, untainted, that is that Atma. And the thing in us which is suffering, which is going through births and deaths and all those karmas and all the happinesses and sorrows of life, that is like a shadow. That is a shadow caused by the light. That light of Atma causes that shadow to be projected. And we identify with that shadow and we become that shadow and we experience all the things. Uh, Good, but I found a good depiction of this Mundaka Upanishad shloka. This is like the two birds, the Mundaka Upanishad, the thing which is shown of two birds. And you see this one, this is another way. These two birds. See here, you see that one bird is just there watching. The other bird is eating all these fruits. This is different depictions for different people. It's just looking, it is not doing anything, it is free. The other bird is actively involved, it is going through eating that fruit. So similarly, other depictions are there. This one is good. So here you see that bird which is eating, and it realizes this other bird who is not eating, it is not doing anything, but it is peaceful and calm. You see the halo behind that bird, the first bird. And slowly it starts moving up towards that bird because it realizes that that bird is somewhat more content and happy. So that is what happens. The jiva is in a journey, that big journey of our lives, not just life. Life is what? It is the journey not from here to like Atlanta or some kind of a North Pole or South Pole or somewhere. That is right within us. That journey is that shift. And this shift is knowing, not knowing who we are to knowing who we are. So this bird which is busy eating is the same bird which is seated, not doing anything. There is no difference in that, but it looks like there is a difference. And that difference is because of this ignorance. So this is that depiction That is better expressed in Mundaka Upanishad, but I just use that to explain this mantra. So Ritam Pribantau Sukritasya Loke. So in this, two birds are there. So that bird which is not eating also is being imposed upon that thing that it is eating. But in reality, it is not doing anything. And it is in that heart, in that center of the heart, Chaya Tapau. That Chaya and Tapau. So this light and shade, that one is the light and the other is the shade. So this depiction uh, of light and shade, we see in this um, in this thing, in this mantra. Now comes the next mantra. The next mantra mentions, say, a point of this journey. What is this journey according to this mantra? It says that Ya Setur Ijananam. So there is a bridge, the bridge has to be crossed. What is that real bridge to cross? The bridge is that from a Vedantic perspective, the bridge is between our sense of individuality to our sense of being the pure consciousness. But if you look from the perspective of a spiritual practitioner, the bridge is, or even a person who is in karma kanda, ritual, the bridge is between him to God. He has to reach God or the abode of God, or the heavens, the highest heavens, Brahma Loka. So the journey from where he is caught in this world, in this earth, to that heavens, that is the journey. And this is how religions say, right? That we, all this life we are living, so that we can, when we die, we go to heavens. That is a religious version. So there is this bridge that one is looking for. And this bridge, there are two ways to use this bridge. So one, as I mentioned, is one goes to Ijananam, that heavens. One goes to that highest one, or he goes to Nachiketagum, that they can go to that heavens used by the Rupasanas, that for that heaven, that Nachiketa Agni that he got in the second board, that heavens also one can go. But what happens if you go there to any of those things? You are not free yet from samsara. So that is why he says that it is the way that the real freedom is that to go to what is called as Aksharam Brahma Param. There is a Akshara Brahma. Akshara Brahma is that imperishable Brahma, that uh, the one Brahma which is the highest reality. So that highest Brahma, that Akshara Brahma, is what, if you go to that Akshara Brahma, what happens? Then you attain this Abhayam Brahma. You become fearless. So the sign of knowing whether you have attained that highest reality or not is to ask yourself whether you are fearless. If you have attained that state of fearlessness, then you have attained that freedom from all of samsara, meaning life after life, that thing you have attained. So this version he gives here, that Brahma Param, that highest Brahma Loka. In order to attain this highest Brahma Loka is the goal, and this bridge which we take to we take this bridge as a means to attain that Brahma Loka.